You're driving down the street and bam, a car crashes into you and you're badly injured. You're worried that you'll drown in medical bills and you won't be able to put food on your table. We'll be diving into which injuries usually get you the most cash, especially when it comes to the pain and suffering part of a settlement. Think of a settlement like agreeing on the price of a used car, except here it's usually the other driver's insurance company that's paying, not you, and you don't have to go to court. But here's the catch. This is only one piece of the puzzle. Your medical bills and lost wages also get thrown into the mix to figure out the full value of your case. When I say medical bills, I mean the money that you have to pay for all your doctor's visits, hospital stays, and any treatments you need because of the accident. Lost wages mean the money that you could have earned if you weren't injured and you could work. Pain and suffering values aren't just pulled out of thin air. They're influenced by past jury verdicts for similar injuries. Jury verdicts tell us how much money people got in similar cases, helping us figure out what your pain and suffering could be worth. Here's the real kicker. These numbers, they're not set in stone. Take fault, for instance. If you're partly to blame for the crash, your settlement could take a nosedive. Being at fault is like getting a percentage of the blame. The more you're blamed, the less money you might get. Like if you're 25% at fault, kiss 25% of the total settlement, goodbye. And don't even think about cashing in if you're 100% at fault. No matter how bad your injuries, you won't see a dime for your pain and suffering. So why are we even talking about settlements? Well, it's simple. Most car accident claims never see the inside of a courtroom. They settle way before that, often even without filing a lawsuit. The case's value is like a tug of war between you and the insurance company. When both your estimates meet in the middle, boom, that's when the deal is struck. To explain the injury that usually is worth the most, let's dive into comedian Tracy Morgan's infamous accident. He was cruising in a limo bus when a Walmart truck barreled into him. His life teetered on the edge for 2 weeks in a coma, and he also had a broken leg and ribs. He had a traumatic brain injury, which is a really bad head injury that can change how you think, feel, and act. Tracy is now doing great, and he's even doing a comedic tour. By far, the main value of Tracy's case was his traumatic brain injury. In a moment, I'll tell you how much it may be worth. If you're in a 2-week coma, it's usually worth much more than a broken leg. So while Tracy's case is extraordinary, let's talk about what that means for the average Joe who's not getting hit by a Walmart truck, but still walks away with a brain injury. Most brain injuries aren't as extreme as being in a coma for 2 weeks. Sometimes it's the little details that can show how bad your injury is. Like, imagine you're in a car that's spinning because of the crash. That spinning isn't just making you dizzy, it's shaking up your brain inside your skull. Your doctor could actually use this to show how your brain got hurt. Some sources suggest that Tracy's settlement was for around $90 million, but I searched court files and it's confidential. A huge chunk of the settlement was likely for pain and suffering, past and future. The bottom line is that a serious brain injury may be worth over $1 million in pain and suffering. A smaller brain injury, like a concussion, is generally worth much less and may only be worth like $1,000. However, there's hope if you need to prove that your concussion is real and impacting your life. Tests like diffusion tensor imaging or DTI can give you that edge. DTI is a special kind of brain scan that can show injuries that regular scans might miss, making it easier to prove that you really are hurt. This could be a game changer for proving your brain injury claim. Part of the reason minor brain injuries are often worth less money is because anyone can make up symptoms. For example, anyone can say that they have dizziness or memory issues. Now, if you have more than one injury, you just add the values of the different injuries together. And voila, you have the total pain and suffering value. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about other types of injuries that can dramatically impact your claim's value, like severe burns or, tragically, fatal accidents. Bad burn injuries can be worth over $1 million. I'm not talking about having a small burn though. Burns on your face are usually worth much more than burns on other parts of your body. If a family member is killed in a car accident, your pain and suffering may be worth over $1 million and sometimes much more. Now, Tracy walked away with a significant settlement mostly because of his brain injury, which, believe it or not, can sometimes be worth even more than a wrongful death claim. For example, if you're young and have a serious brain injury, you're going to have a lot of pain and suffering for many years to come. Judges are less likely to put a cap on your future pain and suffering. A cap on pain and suffering is like a limit on how much money you can get. This is like a speed limit for how much money you can get for your pain. Courts set this to say,
you can't get more than this amount.
On the other hand, if a family member dies in an accident, courts are much more likely to set an upper limit on how much you can get for your pain and suffering. Now that we've seen how the serious injuries like Tracy's can impact the value of a claim, what about the less serious injuries that you might not think matter, but trust me, they do. I talk about how much those may be worth in the video that's on screen and in the description below, so watch that video now. And if you've been seriously injured in an accident in Florida and you think that someone else is at fault, click the link in the description below to see if I could be the lawyer for you.